Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. I'm going to do an analysis, and I'm going to go pretty slow and I'm pretty basic so that everybody who's never been to law school will understand. So bear with me if you can jump on it and you already know what's happening. A federal judge, let's start from the beginning. President Trump has whitehouse.gov or White House or at White House on Twitter, and he has at Real Donald Trump. At Real Donald Trump is his personal and private Twitter account. He has announced his personal and private opinions about things because he is probably the most transparent president ever. And he wants to go directly to the people and tell the people directly information. Why? Because the media spins everything, sensationalizes everything. It boggles my mind. If you already know the people that clickbait is a thing, that bait and switch is a thing, that capturing your attention is a thing, you should already know that the news will grab onto something and turn it into the most sensational lying thing possible. Just look at your local news. Your local news never reports that, hey, such and so road was completed and it is the most advanced, smoothest ride, and we have 100-year warranty on the road, the main boulevard. They won't even say that. Now, you would think that would be newsworthy. No, they want to report on some accident that happened to some guy or some apartment complex caught on fire and one whole room was burned. When that doesn't affect nearly anybody. My traumatic accident that happened, that is the cause of me not driving today, happened to me. I had choppers overhead. I could hear them on the radio. In fact, when I got all the way from the accident and arrived at my friend's house who was going to look over me, they still were talking about it on the radio. Now, ostensibly, the accident wasn't the Hollywood production that you see where the car flips over, but I had a near-death experience from it. And I was traumatized with the sound of it over and over, repeating over and over and over for about 6 months. But they kept reporting on it over and over and over. Why? Because there's nothing else involved in traffic that day. So they kept reporting that. Instead of saying, oh, the roads are smooth, and except for this one incident, absolutely nothing has happened in the valley. So the news sensationalizes everything. And the news has been 90% negative towards Trump. That is a fact. It's sensational and negative towards our president. The news organizations in the United States of America is owned by 3 people. And I mean all news organizations. All of them. They're owned by 3 people. And guess what party those 3 people are in? That's right, the Democratic Party. Now, you say Fox News is part of is owned by a Democrat? Yes. In fact, the sons of the owner of Fox wants to turn Fox into CNN. So if you pull up maybe like 6 months of Fox News when it first started and pull up the latest 6 months, you will see a stark difference Why? Because the sons are taking over more and more. So with the shutting down of Fox News as a Republican or conservative, actually it's more establishment Republican. People are so confused. They don't know that the Republican Party is composed of the run-of-the-mill people, the local politicians, and then the top echelon, who are all the elitist establishment people. And the elitist establishment people are all Democrats. And people can't wrap their head around that the Democrats, who used to outnumber the Republicans 10-1, decided not to compete fairly with the Republicans and simply took over the top of the party. Why? Because they could. Because they had a 10-1 margin. And this whole idea that the Republican Party switched over to the Democrats and no, that never happened. What happened was dirty pool. The Democrats took over the top echelon. These are the neocons. These are the establishment Republicans. They took over the top echelon. Why? Because they could. They had the numbers. They had the numbers. And the fact that Lincoln won, Lincoln, you should really study Lincoln if you really want to know some information about the Republican Party and versus the Democrats and what the Democrats hated, absolutely hated. And then you will then get into the Civil War and understand that the Civil War wasn't about the North versus the South. Once again, it was about Democrats who were located in the North and the South versus the tiny group of Republicans. And then you have to study all of the governors and what all of the governors and all of those who were all Democrat and what they said. And that they said this election of President Lincoln is so heinous. Oh my God. It sounds like today. We will secede from the Union if this president isn't gone. And we know the ending of that story. Okay. Fast forward to now. Twitter has made it their algorithm that anytime the president says anything, the algorithm will weed out any positive response to it. Trash, 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 trash. So you get only negative responses. So you click on anything that the president says on his personal account. And you have negative, 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 negative. They have come out and said it. People who have analyzed Twitter have come out and said it. People who are vastly better programmers than I am have come out and said it. But you have only to look at the account, look at any tweet that he puts out, and to see just negative, 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 negative. Why? This is to create an environment that you think that people hate the President of the United States when he has a 51% approval rating. That's 10 points above Obama ever. In fact, Obama was going negative towards the end of his presidency. So, whoever runs the personal account of the president started banning people from that personal account. And I keep saying personal so you understand. You get the point, personal. So the people who got banned sued the President of the United States under the auspices of his personal account on Twitter. Now, a federal judge declared that the president or whoever is running his personal account cannot ban people from responding to his personal account. Shall we guess what party that this federal judge belongs to? I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist, right? Okay. By this federal judge declaring, hold on, his decision was that it is a public forum, and under the auspices of the First Amendment, that anybody responding to the president's personal tweets on his personal account cannot be banned, cannot be blocked due to the First Amendment. Let me give you some analysis of how earth-shattering that is in terms of Twitter. And I believe this will also apply to YouTube and Facebook. If I ever got into court, that's exactly what I would argue. This judge has declared that Twitter is a public forum. And as a public forum, the First Amendment applies directly to Twitter, even on a personal account. Operating on the auspices of the government, the president at White House or at whitehouse.gov, it's understandable that a federal judge could say on the federal official Twitter account, you can't block people. But to go so far as to say this is a public forum, even on your private account, you can't block people, is declaring by judicial decree that you cannot, that this falls under the First Amendment, which Twitter is trying to argue that they are a private company, when in fact Twitter, YouTube, Facebook have already been declared entities and entities under national security and receive millions of dollars from the Department of Homeland Security. It is actually used in almost every country as a tool for local and federal police, depending on what country you're in. Also, it is also used as a platform for governmental lobbies. So saying that it is a private company is an uneducated, misinformed statement. If anybody gets blocked off of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, they should turn around, sue them, and use this case as a sound foundation of establishing that these companies are in fact not private, because they're not. Thank you all for watching. Tell me what you think.